Welcome to the fourth lecture of week 1. This is about centrifugal sedimentation and industrial equipment used for sedimentation process. This particular lecture is divided in two parts, that is lecture 4 and lecture 5. In lecture 4 I will speak about centrifugal sedimentation, and in lecture 5 we will discuss industrial equipment. So let us start with centrifugal sedimentation. Now, what is centrifugal sedimentation? The centrifugal force, you all understand that it is in radial direction. So, when centrifugal forces are involved in separation processes, gravitational forces are overcome. Thus, separation efficiency is enhanced significantly. So, what happens in centrifugal force, that when we consider the sedimenter, in usual sedimenter, what happens, the particle starts settling down. However, in centrifugal sedimentation what happens, the equipment revolves with a very high RPM. So, what happens, the slurry which is available in that is collected, is spread at the periphery of this due to centrifugal forces. Now, if we have heavier particles as well as if we consider the slurry which contains the solid particle as well as solvent. So, what happens, solid particle will be, because they are more heavy, so it will be collected at the wall of the equipment. However, at the inner layer we have the clear liquid. So, in that way the separation occurs. So, that is due to centrifugal action. Now, if we consider the centrifugal forces as well as gravitational forces, the centrifugal forces are very high in comparison to gravitational forces. So, the ratio of centrifugal forces to gravitational force, that is omega square r, is due to centrifugal force and g is due to gravitational force, is often of the order of several thousands and is a measure of separating power of the machine incorporating centrifugal force. So, what happens, because this centrifugal forces ratio with the gravitational force is very high, the separation becomes very easy or very fast in comparison to centrifugal forces, in comparison to normal sedimentation which works under gravity. So, separation can be carried out much more rapidly in a centrifuge than under the action of gravity. So, as far as centrifuges are concerned, these are of two types. First is the tubular bowl centrifuge. Tubular bowl centrifuge is shown in this diagram, where here we have the smaller diameter, however length is significantly high in comparison to diameter. So, in this case feed enters from the bottom and this total bowl revolves with very high RPM. So, what happens, the feed which is coming into this chamber, that is inside the bowl which revolves. So, what happens, the particle, the heavier particle which due to centrifugal forces, the heavier particles are collected at the periphery of this and forms a heavy layer. Now, inside this we have the liquid layer which is lighter than the particle. So, these are used for separation of solid and liquid, as well as liquid which is, one is having more density, or we call that heavy liquid, and second is lighter. So, they are also used to separate liquid of different densities and slurry which contains particles as well as solvent or liquid. So, at the periphery of this bowl, that is tubular bowl, at the periphery of this heavy layer is formed due to the particle, and which is collected at the top, and lighter liquid which is available inside the layer of heavy particles or heavy material. The light liquid which is available, that is collected from another path. So, here we have the heavier fraction as well as lighter fraction, both are collected. So, what happens, this is here we have feed enters from the bottom. Usually in sedimentation, normal gravity sedimentation, feed enters from the top. Sometimes it enters from the bottom also in sedimentation tank, but here in tubular bowl it is always entered from the bottom. So, this is the tubular bowl centrifuge. Second centrifuge we have is the disc bowl centrifuge, which is shown in this diagram. What happens in disc bowl centrifuge? Here we have the bowl, and inside this we have many discs which are available one over another with a specific distance. So, what happens in this case, feed enters from the top, and this complete assembly, that is the shaft where the discs are available, this assembly rotates. So, what happens, feed which is coming from the top, it is first divided in two sections, that is both side of the bowl, as you can see in this diagram, and when it is rotated, so what happens, the solid which is available in this, that is collected over here, or the heavier liquid which is available, if we need to separate two liquids of different density, so heavier one will be collected at the periphery, however lighter one will be transposed from these disc to the top. So, here another diagram we have. This is again another example of the disc bowl centrifuge, where liquid is collected from inner section of where discs are available, and solid is and heavier liquid is collected at outer section of this disc, whereas lighter liquid is we have taken from the center. Now, solid which is deposited over here, that we can take out. So, here we have basically the separation of solid liquid and separation of heavier liquid as well as lighter liquid. So, both can be separated in this, and this disc bowl centrifuge as well as tubular bowl centrifuge, both are used to separate the particles as well as heavy and light liquid. So, here we have in centrifuge sedimentation, we are going to derive the expression to calculate volume which can be contained in the bowl, the residence time of the particle, and we will further define the cut diameter, which speaks about that how much fraction or how much size of the particle can be separated, and beyond that particle cannot be separated through centrifugal sedimentation. So, to start this, so here we will discuss the shape of the liquid surface and liquid volume in the bowl. Now, to derive the expression, first of all we should understand what type of trajectory is observed during the centrifugal action in bowl. When centrifugal forces act, or when centrifugal action is taking place in a bowl, the liquid is collected at the periphery. All liquid will be collected at the periphery and form a vortex. Now, what happens when when RPM is very high, or when the speed of rotation is very high, what happens, liquid will be collected at the wall of the container or wall of the bowl. So, when we consider a high speed, you can see in this diagram, which has radius r and total height as b. Now, here you see this total after centrifuge, what happens, this we have the factor Ra as well as Rb, which speaks about the trajectory. Now, in high speed, when we consider high speed, all liquid will be accumulated at the periphery of the bowl. So, it will trajectory will start from Ra to Rb. So, at high speed this type of profile we get. However, at low speed the vortex forms parabolic like trajectory, parabolic like profile, as shown in figure this as well as this. In this diagram we have lesser speed in comparison to this diagram. So, here we have proper parabolic. However, here it is parabolic is not formed completely, and in this first figure at very high speed parabolic is not appear at all. So, a liquid element at y distance, if you consider this particular figure, here we have y we are considering for height and x we are considering for radius. So, liquid element at y distance from the bottom, that is this, and x distance from the axis of rotation, that is from the center, will experience a centrifugal force omega square x. Now, if we have the x distance and y at this point, if any liquid element is available, it will experience omega square into x centrifugal force per unit mass in the radial direction. As we have discussed, the centrifugal force will act in radial direction. So, at this particular position, the centrifugal forces per unit mass is omega square x. However, it will also act, this element will have the experience of gravitational forces, that is g per unit mass, which will act downward. So, the slope of liquid at this particular point x and y, that is at this point, can be defined as dy by dx, which is equal to omega square x by g. Now, on integration using the condition that at y equal to b, x equal to r naught. So, here we have y equal to, when y equal to b, that is at the top, x should be r naught. So, at this particular condition from here to here we will integrate. So, here we have this particular equation where dy by dx is omega square x by g. When we integrate this while putting the value y equal to b and x equal to r naught, we can find this particular equation where y is related with x square. Now, volume of the bowl, how we will calculate volume of the bowl is VL is we integrate from 0 to b pi r square minus x square, that is at particular point, pi r square minus x square, that is for this particular section, into dy. So, that is the volume of the liquid in bowl. So, when we replace x square from this equation to this equation and integrate this equation from 0 to b, we can get final expression of VW, final expression of VL as pi b bracket g by omega square plus bracket r square minus r naught square. So, this is the expression of volume. Now, if this is the condition where we have the complete parabolic is formed after distance b naught from the bottom. So, in this case, total volume of the liquid would be pi r square into b naught, that is total volume of liquid available in this particular section, and then we will integrate from b naught to b pi r square minus x square into dy. Now, in this particular equation, what happens that this expression we have integrated from 0 to b, we can find this. Now, if we replace this b by b minus b naught, because b naught to b is the limit of this particular expression. So, as this is the integrated part of this, after integration we can find this expression where b we can replace with b minus b naught, and then the whole expression would be put over here in place of this, and after solving this we can get the expression of VL like this. Now, here we have another factor, that is b naught. So, since y equal to b naught, at y equal to b naught, x would be 0. So, from this equation at y equal to b naught, x would be 0. From this equation we can find b naught expression, and while putting this b naught into this, we can calculate total volume which is available in this type of container, this type of centrifuge, where volume can be in terms of all known parameter like B, R naught, etc., G, omega, all these we can find. So here using this expression we can calculate volume of the liquid which is available in bowl. So here we will discuss the centrifugal sedimentation, where force balance will be discussed to calculate the residence time of the particle. Now feed enters at the bottom and solid particles tend to get dragged by liquid and also moves radially due to centrifugal force. So effective trajectory would be like this, as we have discussed previously. As the magnitude of centrifugal force is very high, then the gravitational force, it is assumed that particles settle only in radial direction, because centrifugal forces are higher. So particle will be suspended in the liquid instead of settling down. So at t equal to 0, particle will be in a liquid at radial distance, that is x plus h1. For example, if x plus h1 over here, at time equal to t it should be x plus h2 at this. So this distance when we consider, so that time required to move this distance would be the residence time in centrifuge. So to calculate this, we make the force balance on the particle, and this is the net acceleration. Here we have this mg minus, that is due to weight of particle itself, this is due to buoyancy, and this is due to drag forces. Now as this equation is valid when gravity forces will act. In this case, as centrifugal forces dominate, so we will replace g value with omega square x. So here MAE would be equal to m by rho s minus rho f, omega square x plus h minus fr. X plus h is the distance at which particle is available in the solution. Now here we have different expression for Fr, and we can define different conditions for laminar as well as turbulent flow. So if particle is very fine, very small, the settling zone we may be considered as laminar. In that case, Fr can be defined by this expression, where V is the velocity which can be replaced by dx plus h by dt. Once we put this in the previous expression, that is in the here we have replaced m of the particle as volume of the particle into density, and this is the acceleration term. And here the same m we have replaced, and rest parameter are as it is, and Fr we have kept like this. So this is the equation while putting all expressions. So further we can redefine the equation in terms of z, where A1, B1 and Z are defined in this way. So the integration constant can be found at considering the case that at t equal to 0, z should be x plus h1, and at tt z should be x plus h2. So if particle moves with the terminal settling velocity, what is the meaning of this? That at terminal settling velocity there will not be any net force which is acting on the particle. So net acceleration would be in that case 0. So when we neglect this particular term, because it is 0, and while solving these two expression we can get the equation like this, that is d x plus h by dt in this form. So that is the case when no acceleration is applicable. Integrating above equation from t equal to 0 to t equal to tt, where we can find the residence time of the particle in the centrifuge. So where tt is the residence time of the particle in the centrifuge. Similarly, if we have larger particle, we assume a turbulent flow where a drag coefficient is we are considering as kT. So this is the equation for Fr, that is Fr equal to A kF. A is the projected area of particle, K is the kinetic energy per unit volume of the particle, and F is the drag coefficient, that is kT in this case. So while putting this Fr we can get like this. Again for no acceleration condition we can find this expression where the whole parameter, whole expression is converted into Kc square. So in that case again while integrating we can get residence time of the particle in this form. Further, for very high speed vertical liquid surface is obtained as shown in the figure, like here we have this way. So in that case, initial x plus h1 should be Ra and x plus h2 should be Rb. So while for this case, when we consider, we have a residence time of particle for laminar zone this. So here this, all this we will replace with Ra and Rb, and similarly for turbulent flow we can replace this and this as Rb and Ra. So after replacing this, we can get final residence time for the turbulence zone, for the laminar zone as well as turbulent zone. However, these equations cannot be used directly for design of industrial centrifuge, since we do not know at what x the particle is settling or at what position in the liquid Ra or H1. The particle originally was at t equal to 0. Now, if Rb in this particular equation, if Rb is equal to R, capital R, when we are considering, so the particle is separated. So when Rb is equal to R, that is it should be at the wall, we consider the particle to be separated. However, when Rb is lesser than R, it will be carried with the liquid. So these are the residence time expressions. We can also find residence time alternatively, like considering total volume, which is volume of the liquid in the bowl divided by the flow rate, that is volumetric flow rate. Division of these two will give the residence time, where Q is the rate of flow of liquid through the bowl. And here we have to define one parameter, that is very important parameter, and that is called as the cut size. The cut size we can denote as dpc of the particle for centrifugation is defined as the particle of size dpc will settle through a distance equal to half the thickness of the liquid layer inside the bowl during its residence time in the bowl. Thus, the cut size of the particle settles through a distance r minus r naught by 2 within the residence time Tt. So what is the meaning of this? That when residence time, when we consider the cut diameter of the particle, it means it will settle at this distance. So particle which is lesser than the dpc, that will not be settled, and particle which are higher in size than dpc will be settled, because they will move in this particular distance. In that case, Ra should be capital R minus R naught by 2. So this is the total distance, total radius of the bowl, and this is the distance they will move. So while solving this, we can consider this particular expression where Ra. So Ra is nothing but the distance of half of the layer. It will be Ra, and Rb would be the capital R in that case, if we consider the cut diameter. So for laminar zone, we can calculate QC like this. Now how this expression we have obtained is, we have this Q value and the QC we have defined here. If you consider the previous slide, here we have the TT expression. Once we put TT expression in this, and then after solving it for Q, we can obtain the equation like this. Similarly, for turbulent zone, we have this expression where Kc dash we can define like this. So how we can define these equation, because we have already residence time in laminar zone as well as in turbulent zone. So that expression we have put to calculate the Q value, because we have two expression of Tt, and then we can replace and then calculated Q for laminar as well as turbulent. So here we have the example of centrifugal sedimentation, where a centrifuge with 70 centimeter diameter and 35 centimeter height is being operated at 1000 rpm. It is employed to clarify a slurry consists of solid particle with specific gravity 1.5 in a liquid of specific gravity 1.2 and viscosity 4 centipoise at 150 meter cube per hour. If 5 centimeter thick liquid layer is formed inside the bowl and having following particle size distribution, compute what percent of particles will be separated in this centrifuge. So here we have the problem, and the particle size data will available over here, that is particle size minus and plus, and all fraction which is available on this particular screen. So, we have to use this data, we have to calculate the percentage of particle size which can be separated. So, first of all what we have to calculate is the all flow rates we know, that is the Q value we know. So, we can calculate the cut diameter of the particle, and we will see that how many particles are available above to this. So, all those percent of particle will be separated, and particle which are lesser than the cut diameter, that should not be separated. So, first of all we have to calculate the cut diameter. So, here we have the particle, as the particle size is very small, here you can see the particle size, that is maximum is maximum can be 0.09 and minimum is 0.02. So, that is particle size is very small. So, we can consider this as a laminar zone. QC expression for laminar zone is this, that just we have discussed. So, here we have this D we have replaced with DPC, that is the cut diameter. So, here we have QC value which is 150 meter cube per hour, that is given. So, we can represent this in centimeter cube per second. B, R, rho S, rho F, mu F, R naught. R naught, how we will calculate? Total radius of the bowl we know, and we know that 5 centimeter layer is formed. So, total R naught should be the outer edge and the starting of the distance from the axis, starting distance of layer, that is the 5 centimeter thick layer is there. So, 35 centimeter is the radius. So, R naught, how R naught we will calculate is R minus thickness of the layer. So, R is basically the radius of the bowl which is 35 centimeter, and 5 centimeter thick layer is formed inside. So, R naught will be 35 minus 5, that is 30 centimeter. Omega we can calculate because 1000 RPM is given to us. So, once we calculate, once we put all this value into this and calculate DPC, the DPC can be found as 0.0435 mm. Now, we are given the particle size distribution data. So, that we will represent in cumulative form to see how many particles are available which is having size greater than the DPC, that is 0.0435. So, to do this we can have the cumulative value in this table where all values size is available and fraction will be keep on adding because it is cumulative. So, here we can see this cut diameter is 0.0435 mm which lies in between these two. So, once we calculate corresponding to this, the total fraction we found is 0.247. So, 0.247 will lie below DPC. So, 1 minus 0.247 into 100, that is 75.3% particle will be separated because their size would be greater than the size the cut diameter which we have just calculated. So, in this particular example 75.3% particle will be separated. So, in this way we can derive the equation for centrifugal sedimentation, and we can use this for the calculation purpose for to calculate how many particles are available, etc. That is all about the centrifugal sedimentation. So, for this session we have to stop over here. In next session we will continue we will discuss the industrial equipment available for sedimentation. So, that is all for now. Thank you.